What a day.
What a day.
My pop filter is just refusing now.
A few moments later.
We're just watching the most floppy
Live
of
with
pop
your
filters.
sins.
1 hour later.
My pop filter's just fucking giving up with my shit.
No wonder.
2 hours later.
It's fascinating content. Do you hear that?
I hear it in my ears.
Yeah.
It's gotten through. Dude. He's dead, Jim.
Oh, I think I know what's happened.
2,000 years later.
Just tuning in, by the way. This is right after the last episode we recorded, so we are living off the high of that chaotic energy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
If you need a refresher, please tell me what a lasagna is.
There we go.
It's fixed now.
Yeah.
Can we start the episode,
Yes.
please?
Hello, internet passersby, and welcome back to Napcast. As always, I'm Rebel Notorious, and joining me as always today is Sean
That's me.
and Melina.
I don't want to talk about it.
The things you've heard and seen.
You know what? It's now going to be funnier if I don't put any of that in.
It'll just be confusing.
It will
just-
be.
I'm
That's
let
the
them
point.
know.
Trying to come up with weirder and weirder shit to say. It's like,
Yeah. I am getting a little bit bored of the intro. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again.
and
That's
that's
an
why
intro.
I'm adding a little bit of flair every time, you know.
Yeah, so today we're just gonna see where it takes us.
It's freeform.
So I have another story to tell. You may remember a little bit back if we rewind to one of our previous episodes. Tales from the Greg's shit show.
I'm pretty sure that's, at the time of recording, that's the one that's just gone
it might
out.
be.
It's just
yeah.
come out, yeah.
Well, I was in work on Friday.
Oh no.
I went to the bathroom.
At the Greg's.
Yes,
the Greg's.
I went to the bathroom before I went on my break.
and
Went,
behold.
grabbed my food, come back, sitting in our break room. I'm chilling, listening to a podcast, not ours.
You vain fuck.
I'm eating. No, I genuinely wasn't listening to
I
ours. I'm eating, and one of the cleaners comes in. She was like, "Was there someone in the bathroom when you went in?" And I was like, "Yeah, one of the stalls was being used." And I was like, "I could hear someone's phone, and it fucking stank." And she's like, he was in there for like 10 minutes before you went in."
Oh no.
And this was 10 minutes after I had come out.
Oh no.
I'm like, oh. And then eventually she goes to find like the security guard just in case, because she's kind of a bit, because we've had a recurring incident.
If you refer back
If
to
you
our
refer back
previous
to that previous episode.
I hope it's ingrained in your memory what happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
And
ingrained in mine.
she's like also waiting to go and like clean. So she goes and grabs the security guard. By the time she comes back, guy's gone. Toilet's empty. So she goes in, she starts cleaning up, and she takes the rubbish bag out of the bin.
No.
And there was a cucumber inside of it.
A cucumber. He's again branching out. My God.
I think he goes for cucumbers when there's no courgettes.
Ah, okay, fair enough. It's not a choice. It's a necessity.
It's a necessity.
I hate that we're getting the sequel. I didn't ask.
Yeah. So they quickly go and check the security cameras, and like this, whoever it was went in, never went in with anything. So and then they went back and checked in the morning, and they found the guy. So it had been sitting in there for a while.
Oh,
So that was
very visibly shook there.
yeah.
Oh, no.
So coming off
Thanks
of
for
that
the update,
story,
yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know.
I was on Reddit the other day, just kind of scrolling through, and I came across this story, and I can't remember what subreddit it's from, but I found it pretty funny. So it's the late 70s. Start the storytime music,
Yeah.
I guess. And this guy's having a party. You know, there's drugs, there's alcohol, the usual stuff for the 70s. And he has a friend who is, in his words, a midget. A small person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little person.
Who just, he's been there for most of the night, and he just decides to leave.
Yeah.
But at some point, he decides to come back. But rather than go in and join the party, he goes upstairs and goes under the guy's bed.
Oh.
And is like lying there for a while. So fast forward a little bit, party's coming to an end. the husband and wife, they go upstairs into the bed and they
Oh,
start.
it was like a grown-up
I
I thought
guess.
college party.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I was assuming something.
So they start, getting jiggy with it.
They fondue.
And at this point, the small friend has fallen asleep under the bed and just starts snoring.
Oh no.
And the guy loses it. So he kills the friend.
Oh.
And I don't know what's going on with the wife here, but she doesn't know, right? So she doesn't. So I guess either she left the room or maybe she had fallen asleep or.
Is this a true story?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Alrighty then.
So he's killed him.
You started out the story with I thought it was pretty funny, so
Yeah.
And he panics.
Holding-
So he
Yeah.
goes, he takes the body downstairs, and he's like, what the fuck do I do with it? This is the 70s. He looks in his living room and sees the TV.
Oh no. No. No.
He pulls out the back of the TV, unscrews it, shoves the midget in, screws the TV back up, puts the TV back, goes to bed, wakes up, goes to work in the morning. The wife comes down, she's pottering about doing her little thing. She goes to turn on the TV, won't turn on. Phone's an engineer, because it's the 70s, no one knew how to fucking fix them back then. Engineer comes out.
Was this his long-term plan or like his? I'll figure out what to do. For now, I'll do this.
Yeah,
I
just
don't know. So
shove it in there.
the engineer, goes in, starts looking at it, opens it up. There's the dead
small person.
Dead small person.
Jesus.
And the guy went to jail.
Well, yeah.
No shit.
That's how this guy got caught for murder.
Holy shit.
What the fuck?
Did not expect murder to be that story when you started off as this is a story that
This
made
is
me
gonna
laugh.
be.
I
this
just
is gonna
find
be
it
great,
funny that he
guys.
panicked and shoved them in the back of the
I
TV.
mean,
What a
panic
way to get-
responses
Yeah.
are not great. But there's
I mean,
digging a hole.
What?
Is it?
I've never killed anyone. I'd like to state that, but I don't know
did.
if I would know what to do.
What a hilarious way to get caught for murder.
It's like, oh, what? What's the? Oh, how'd that get in there?
Oh no.
Like, how do you... How?
Oh wow, that's a big mutated bird, all right.
Oh, how long's that been in there?
How'd that get in there?
Oh,
Joey.
Who would do such a thing?
It's like a skeleton.
This is the next day, so it's like fresh.
Yeah.
I know. I figured it was fresh. It's just the skeleton's funny.
Yeah. It would almost been funnier if somehow the TV...
Hadn't been used.
Yeah. And they only like figured it out once it started to smell. So there we go. It's a nice way to kick the
It's
episode
like-
up. We're not even 10 minutes
It's
in.
like that's to go into another grim story. This doesn't have a big preamble. It's just
Oh, God.
something that happened somewhere in like 10 years ago or something. Like an old lady, I think, had a stroke or something, and she was living alone, and they didn't find her for like 3 years
Oh, wow.
until like the landlord came round, or either that or to like get rent or something, or so it was something to do with rent or bills,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
even the IRS.
Okay.
But they just like found her, and like she was bones at that point, and like the dogs had like they had like sort of managed to figure out that the dog had been like living off like a bit longer by chewing
Yeah.
off and eating the skin.
I've
Not nice.
heard that story, yeah.
It's a very well known urban
Yeah.
legend.
I've heard stories.
it's probably
of it,
true.
yeah.
I can imagine it being true.
Yeah. It's a bit sad.
Why do we start like this? We
I
just had the
don't
weirdest
know.
batshit episode, and then we're like, let's
We gotta
really
shoot
down with it.
ourselves down somehow. We're not evolving into true crime though.
No, let's not do that. I don't know if that small person story is like true.
It seems like it could be made up, it could be real. You never know.
Yeah.
Urban legend again.
Like I say, I can't remember what subreddit I seen it on.
No sleep.
No sleep. That I wouldn't lose sleep over that story. Really?
Yeah, I lose sleep over everything.
One, you don't have a TV. Two, TVs aren't capable of housing a small person
Yeah, but
anymore.
we've moved past the
No, it's
big
just
chunky
the
bat.
idea of anyone could have hidden the body anywhere. Could be in the backyard.
Not very well if it was
Could
the
be in
next
a trash
day
can.
that it
You
was
never
found.
know. Isn't there like a statistic that every person will walk past like 3 murders in their whole life?
Something
or
like
something?
that. I remember hearing a story. I can't believe we're fucking talking about these. Of like
This is your fault, you
I
brought
know.
up
Yeah.
I didn't
small
expect.
person murder.
I didn't expect to go on. Anyway, I'm gonna tell this one and we're gonna fucking move on.
Yeah.
There was a set of flats in the U. I mean, we shouldn't tell this story because Melina lives in a set of flats.
If it's the attic, it's too predictable.
It's not the attic. So
You can leave the room if you want.
It's fine.
So there was the set of flats, and in some of the apartments, the flats inside, people would complain about like a weird smell, and so they got people in and had a look, and they couldn't really find anything. But eventually it got so bad that like I'm remembering a story I've heard like a while ago. So if the details of this are wrong, I apologize.
Understandable.
I think they done like a full top to bottom like search of what could be causing it, and it was either in the drains underneath or on like parts at the top. Someone had been stuffing body parts into,
I feel like I've heard this somewhere.
or they had been like putting them down their like trash compactor in the sink or something like that.
American.
No, this was British, I think. This story.
Because they have the little grindy thingies in
Yeah.
their
The
sinks.
sink, yeah.
Some places in the UK do have
Oh.
them.
Take some
I thought those
garbage
were weird.
disposals.
Yeah, I don't really get it because there's
Yeah.
only certain things you can put down there.
Yeah.
It's like, but I don't get it. Why don't you just throw them away?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's just a thing for laziness.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah. So they found body parts either from the trash compactor thing or the something in the top of the building or in the drains
I just
underneath.
think how murder's gonna be so stupid.
And they managed to trace it back to the exact apartment it came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
duh.
Room 237.
That's like, I don't want to go on too long about shit like this, but like, if you murder someone, do it better. Like,
Amazing advice from Melina.
it's you hear the stories. Like, he put it there. I'm like, why would you put it there?
If you're gonna murder someone, do it well. Don't fuck it up.
You don't
and it'll
want to
work.
play.
It'll just work.
Murder is bad, but don't plague your neighbors with it.
I think was it the same story that the guy who done it had like a corpse that he kept in his house as like a girlfriend or something like that.
Probably.
Corpse Bride. From Tim Burton.
Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
Christ. Can we move on?
Yeah, please.
Anyone got anything? You've watched the first episode of the new season of The Crown.
Yes, I have.
You've watched
A few
a
episodes.
few.
I was gonna say I don't mind being spoiled, but then I realized it's actual fucking history.
Yeah.
I keep doing that with this
Crazy.
show.
When they broke up, they divorced.
Oh god, I hope nothing happens to Diana. She's my favorite.
I don't know what it is about the Crown because I don't give a shit about the royal family, but I love the
Oh,
Crown.
I don't either, but it's so interesting.
so
It's
many
their
interesting things.
storytelling, maybe. Or
I think it's definitely
very
down to the
well made.
storytelling. Like my mum's watching it, she's like, "No, that didn't really happen." I'm like, "Mum, just turn that part of your brain off."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because whether it did or didn't, it's definitely dramatized.
Oh
at the
yeah,
very
it's a
least.
drama first
Yeah.
and foremost.
Because I think, was it the royal family mad at Netflix? You're not making it clear it's
I don't
a
think it was the
drama.
royal family. I think it was
They're-
people.
Yeah,
on
it was
their
people.
behalf.
Yeah.
Officially, I don't think the royal family's ever talked about this.
Nah, because they
No.
don't have a fucking stance on anything.
Yeah, because
No.
they're not. Because constitutionally, they can't.
Yeah.
If you think, like, they're very clear and say it's based on real events, but of course we don't know everything, so we're going to fill in
Yeah.
the blanks.
Yeah,
And we're
exactly.
gonna,
I think a lot of it comes from like royal journalists and biographers.
Yeah, from the
and-
sources they can get.
Yeah.
Or possible rumors.
Yeah.
Because like there was one episode dealing with like coups against the Harold Wilson government in like the 70s, and that's never been officially been confirmed.
Yeah.
But it just went off like the rumors, and it's possible that happened.
This
like,
season
once.
deals with something really strange in that it's almost like Charles is trying to attempt a coup
Yeah,
on Queenie.
that
Also,
I don't
the fact
feel like that
they-
happens, but
Nah.
They fully include, like, Camilla Gate.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I hated that so much.
they did the full transcripts almost.
Oh.
And they had them act it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
fucking.
Because they
damn
started the episode being hinting at it, and I was like, "Oh, that's
I
good,
don't like how
classy."
that episode is structured. That
No, it's weird.
bugs the shit out of me.
Because I am not as familiar with all these events. I was like, I'm aware of what's gonna happen. I'm like, are they gonna leave it out? Ah, there it is. There it is.
So
There
they
you
start
go.
the episode with Charles and Camilla on the phone, and then it pulls out to the guy in the like a caravan listening to it, and then taking it to the papers, and then it's like 3 years later, and I'm like, yo, dude, what?
Nah.
That's a lot you've just skipped over.
Yeah, like they could have, because it doesn't really become relevant again until because it's in the same episode
Yeah.
that Charles and Diana officially divorce.
They separate.
They
They don't say
separate.
divorce.
They don't say divorce.
But they divorced.
I think this is during the separation period, then later they got officially divorced.
Okay.
Because if you go on Wikipedia and look at most of the royals from that era, yeah, they're all fucking divorced.
Wow, I would never have suspected that from the last few seasons
Yeah.
of these
What?
marriages.
So you have like them separating, and so now they think that it's not like a detriment to the marriage, so they feel like they have an obligation to report on it, and that's when it becomes relevant again. But you're like 25 minutes into the episode before that happens, so they could have just had a flashback
yeah.
rather than
Do
putting it
like
at the
this.
beginning of the
Yeah, no.
episode.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like a good prologue in that sense.
No, because they don't even show the full conversation at the beginning. They like skip over some of it and then have it like more of it show up as it becomes relevant.
Then yeah, at that point, just play the whole thing in flashback.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can have them call it a different instance. Like, oh, this is the different call that they made up. Like, oh, to showcase they are calling.
Yeah.
They call frequently. So then at the end, you have the infamous
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
But it's just that one conversation.
That call. Charles is a fucking creep. I'm
Oh.
sorry, but it's
Royals can't dirty talk.
no.
Yeah.
And like in this particular episode, they like Charles is writing a speech
Yeah.
about like the preservation
Of
of the
the
English
English language.
language.
Yeah, like we need to fucking worry about that.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
they try to talk dirty, and I'm like, that's what this is? Like, it's not very effective.
Yeah.
For one.
It's when she's like, press the button because they're like about to hang up, and he's like, I'll press the tit, and I'm like, what?
That's not how you do a segue,
like,
my man.
Well, like Lupin at the end of Marvel?
Yes.
That's all I could imagine. Yeah, and then Camilla's like, I don't want to say some of the stuff because it's.
Well, it's also known as Tampon Gate for a reason.
There's that too. That
Yeah.
was. Oh my god.
All right then.
He said he wants to live in her pants
Yeah, and then he said, like a tampon.
like a tampon.
And then he
Yeah.
went on a whole thing. It's like, you take me out and then I'll flush through the lavatory. I'm like, my guy, if you were trying to make this sound hot, you just...
My dude, you are repressed.
Yeah, I mean, famously.
Yeah, I get that, but still, Jesus.
The thing is, I've been enjoying Charles in the season up until that point.
Yeah.
Because from some perspective, I get where he's coming from, and from other perspectives, I despise him.
Yeah.
Because there's the stuff with Diana, and like they kind of only show her relationship from her perspective, but at the same time, like he kind of doesn't really care about the relationship enough.
Yeah, like that was pretty clear from like the last season as well.
Yeah.
By the
Oh,
end,
yeah.
he did not give a single
Yeah.
fuck.
And so then you have like him kind of pushing just for like more kind of progressiveness within the monarchy, which is an interesting angle.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When he's not what I think of when I think of
Yeah.
progressiveness.
Exactly.
It's weird because I messaged you last night, and when I was, or was it the night before when I was watching an episode, and I was like, why the fuck do they insist on having drama between Elizabeth and Philip in every single season? Because it's not interesting anymore. It's just
Yeah.
trite.
It's the same shit.
It is
different
exactly
decade.
the same stuff.
Yeah.
At some point, they're too old.
That's
you don't
the
give
thing.
a shit anymore.
This
It's like, I don't
season, I'm like,
care
they
if
are
you
too
agree.
old for this.
Yeah.
Because at near the start, I think you'll have seen this because it's in the Annus Horribilis episode,
Annus Horribilis,
where
yeah.
she's like the Queen Mother. Fucking I hate the Queen Mother.
Do not be fooled by her frailty. She is still a bitch.
She's like reading over this speech that Elizabeth has written, and she's like, you can't say that. She's like, well, thematically it's not on point. And she's like, it's also too human. And I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
We are humans.
But then Phil bursts in and like comes to her defense, and he's like, and the Queen's Mother's like, well, when have you ever been on this horse in the race? And she's like, and Elizabeth chimes in with like, from day one. And I'm like, yes, he has. So why are we seeing all this fucking drama?
Yeah.
And then the next episode or two, they fucking put in like a drama between them. You have this moment where you're like, oh, we're finally getting to see the Elizabeth and Philip that we kind of, from the outside, know.
Yeah.
And then
The team.
yeah, and then you have the whole thing that comes up with the Russians, with like the fall of the USSR,
Yeah.
and how the Romanovs and like the end of the Tsar
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything like that kind of comes into it. And like it throws in like this weird division between the two of them, where like, because Elizabeth isn't really interested in, you know, academia, I guess you could call it.
I'm not that far yet. I don't know.
Smarts.
Yeah, like Charles is well read, not Charles. Philip's well read, and she's, you know, the queen.
The Queen.
And so there's like a weird drift between them, and then because he's kind of been consoling Penny Natchbull, I don't know if you've got that far yet.
I'm
No.
only on episode 1, remember?
I'm trying. A lot can happen in like one episode.
That's fair,
so it's
yeah.
like,
At the end of like the first episode is just like John Major at like Balmoral,
okay.
where you really understand why he punched the Queen in that famous drubbing incident of 1992.
Everything else is just a footnote.
Yeah, it's a joke,
What?
by the way.
Oh, we need to show you that the day-to-day sketch.
Yeah, it was a satire news show from like the 90s.
It's weirdly become like very
Relevant. Back when I can't remember the last time I used it. It was like maybe when Liz Truss resigned. Like I used that, and a film for what the nation needs in times of crisis. That's from that show.
Yeah.
I'm sure I sent that in the WhatsApp group.
But yeah, so like they keep, and because he's kind of like, he's befriended her a little bit more because of something that happens that I'm not going to mention because I think the show handles it really well.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The daughter.
Oh, hold on. Is this the daughter? Did the daughter pop up in the first episode where she's like
Yes.
curly? I know what happens because
Yeah.
my mum
Oh,
told
yeah,
me
yeah,
about what
yeah,
happens.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I think that handles it really well for a character
Yeah.
you've never seen before.
Exactly.
What you
You
kind of
feel.
feel.
I remember.
Yeah.
Child.
And so because he's kind of befriended her a little bit, there's a scene in, I think it's the 6th episode, which is actually, and they're in Russia when it happens, and she's like, and Elizabeth says to him, she's like, she's half your age, and he's like, that's not what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
It's a sudden shift.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, that's never during any scenes that we see them together is there any like
No.
hint that anything
No,
sexual
no.
is going on, and she just fully jumps to that,
Jeez.
and I'm like, no, this is no longer interesting drama. I was like, during season 1 and 2 when they kind of hinted at
Yeah.
Philip being unfaithful, that kind of made sense because
They were young.
they were young and there were like genuine
Possible.
possibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that the show kind of handles it in a way that they never confirm or deny, because I think in real life
We're never gonna know.
we're never gonna know. And I just find it so fucking boring that they keep bringing it back up. Every season ends up having something to do with Philip's unfaithfulness, and it's not interesting.
Yeah.
There's more interesting things. I also thought the royal yacht bit, I was like, yeah, big fucking problems. Your yacht broke.
I couldn't get past the fact I'm watching it and I'm like, I've been on that boat.
I've seen that boat since I was like a kid.
I've been on that boat.
That's
Is
the boat that's just outside Ocean Terminal.
Yeah, there is a picture of me somewhere in this house on that boat. Because there's a scene where like they come
nice
out
boat.
onto the deck and you see like a bell.
Mm.
It is.
Yeah.
I have a picture of me standing in front of that fucking bell.
Nice.
And I couldn't get past that fact.
I just watched. I'm like, very much rich people problems, and some people understood, and other people's like, It's our yacht. It's a beloved boat.
So
I'm
the
like,
funny thing is that boat got retired in '97, and like in the past, since 2019, they've been talking about building another one. And like every time the prime minister changes, it gets brought back up again, but then it gets like fucking.
because it costs millions.
Yeah.
Millions that are better spent during a cost of living crisis on
exactly.
your
Better
people.
things.
And
than a
funnily enough,
fucking
I
boat.
think it was Jeremy Hunt that like recently killed it because of the cost of living crisis, and I'm like, I didn't expect you.
Congratulations, you did your fucking bare minimum job.
Like out of all people. No, I think the season's interesting. Like I said earlier when we were talking about it, something feels different and I can't put my finger on
I
it.
think it's the change in actors for
Also,
everyone.
the lack of youth.
I think that's
Yeah,
maybe
that-
what it is.
that's
But I
sort of
also
leading
feel
into
like
Yeah.
cinematically, something's
differently?
different. Yeah, and I don't know if it's because we're now in the 90s and more colours kind of starting to come into stuff.
Maybe. I haven't noticed anything.
Because this is the
cinematic.
Queen's like colourful age, apparently.
Yeah.
There's a scene in
Ironically enough.
yeah, there's a scene in one of the episodes where they're in Russia and they're like doing like a kind of walk around and everyone is in black and then there's just the Queen in red and I'm like, Liz, do
Read
you
a
know?
fucking room.
Queenie, this isn't the time.
Yeah.
No. Not the time.
I'm like, did someone tell you? Did anyone tell you?
Honestly, knowing the Queen, like, really, I can believe that was on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's like,
Uh,
I like the casting as well. For
The
this,
casting.
Yeah.
oh,
really
the casting's
good.
always on point,
Yeah.
except for Charles.
Yeah, I was about to
Charles
say Charles
is-
looks weird.
Charles looks too handsome.
He's I mentioned this to you. He
Yeah.
looks like a long lost Bond.
Because you go from like,
That's not Charles.
yeah, you go from the person who played him in season 3 and 4, who
Who's
is
great.
goofy looking.
Yeah,
Like Charles himself.
Like Charles.
but in a charming way.
In a charming way.
Like
But then
that.
you
They
jump
look
to.
slightly royally inbred.
Yeah.
Like an Aardman character.
Yeah. And then you jump to season 5, and it's like, I could see you in James Bond.
It's too cavalry for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I think I had the same thing in season. In season 3 and 4, I had the same thing with Philip. I feel like his actor could have been Bond as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen I forget the guy's name, but I've seen him in a lot of stuff, mainly Thrones and
Tobias Menzies.
Tobias. Yeah, Minges or something. How you
Menzies, I think.
pronounce it? But yeah, I've seen him in other stuff, so I'm used to him just sort of being a more pathetic character. So that sort of threw me off. But as an evolution from Matt Smith, I can kind of
I even feel like Matt Smith's too attractive, but I think
Yeah.
he gets the personality down enough.
yeah, Matt Smith knows how to play Philip.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always going to praise Matt Smith. 'cause
Oh,
that's my doctor.
I
But-
never found anyone in season 1 distracting,
Yeah.
except Vanessa Kirby, but that's a whole other reason. That's Margaret. Margaret?
Margaret. Margaret.
Margaret. Yeah, that's who she plays. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Helena Bonham Carter.
I liked her as
She
as
felt
Margaret.
too
great in it.
famous to be there, but
Yeah.
She's great in everything.
I've
yeah.
seen like YouTube has started recommending me like conversations between some of the cast members and like seeing Olivia Wilde and Helena Bonham Carter like talking together. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. This feels wrong.
yeah.
Because you have one of them playing the Queen and then one of them playing the Queen's sister, and it's not the the dynamic you expect. You expect like Olivia
Coleman.
Coleman,
Why
yeah.
did I keep
I
going to
was
say
like,
Olivia Wilde?
I heard that and I was like, do I want to point that out?
Olivia
I
Coleman.
was like, it is probably wild. I was wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
No,
I
no.
keep saying Wilde for some reason. Olivia Coleman.
I assume you just made a mistake.
Yeah.
So.
You have Olivia Coleman, who you think, and out of the two of these, would play the Queen's sister, and then Helena Bonham Carter would play the Queen.
I feel like she might be too sassy.
She could be
She's too hell of a
Because
bottom
Yeah.
I love the girl that did before Claire.
Claire Foy.
She was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's my favorite queen. Because she
I
just
like
nailed
Imelda
the
Staunton.
poise and like the accent to me. I was like, that's it.
Yeah. I also think she gets more emotionally diverse scenes than some of the other ones.
Olivia Coleman is very gloom and doom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Almost all of her.
Oh yeah.
Season. It's a little better in season 4.
When really it should be this season that she's all doom and gloom
Yeah,
because
yeah.
shit's not going
But,
well.
I keep calling her Umbridge because that's who she plays in Harry
Yeah,
Potter. But,
Imelda Staunton.
yeah, but like she from that one episode, she's great. I immediately saw her as the queen.
She has the disappointment face down.
Yeah.
Just
Specifically, the queen I'm used to, which is very old queen.
And this season is
Ah.
very on point.
Oh, absolutely.
oh yeah.
That was freaky.
It's
she pops
scary.
up.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm like, wait, is that's actually Anne?
Also, young Harry specifically is like freakily
yeah,
accurate.
yeah,
Even being like a 5-year-old.
yeah.
I can see that as that's Prince Harry.
They literally just show up in that episode so far.
Oh, fantastic.
It's weird because you think, oh, this is kind of where they'll become relevant. No.
Yeah. They're not just babies anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a bit older than babies, but like, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that kind of threw me off casting wise, but I don't think so.
I'm just not familiar with any of the prime ministers from this era.
Oh,
Me.
John
So I'm
Major.
like, sure you will.
John Major, like the guy playing him is like scarily like looks like him.
Like, to give you context, the actor that plays
Johnny Lee Miller.
John, I think that's his name.
I think so.
He is probably most famously in Scotland known as Sick Boy in Trainspotting.
Yeah.
Like, I figured I'd recognize him, but I did not recognize him
He is
until
so convincing.
at first my mum pointed out, like she went, "Oh shit, that's Sick Boy." To which I went, "Sick Boy." And we had previously talked about like how he plays a character that I wouldn't. That it's hard to recognize it's him.
Yeah.
So when I noticed that, I had to like immediately message you like, "It's him."
Yep.
It's the dude. He just escapes into that role.
Oh,
which
he
is
really does.
hilarious because John Major is such a nothing prime minister.
Yeah.
In terms of legacy, I think.
He really is just there though. Like he's present in so many situations, but he doesn't actually do anything.
Nah, the two big scenes that I've seen him in are like when Charles is talking to him about the possible coup.
Oh yeah, that scene's weird. I don't like that.
Yeah.
The entire time, John Major's just staring at him like, huh?
Why the fuck would you tell me this?
Don't do this.
It's so weird watching that first episode and hearing that at one point Charles was more popular than the Queen, and you're like, I'm sorry, come again?
Yeah, that.
I mean, yeah, pre-separation.
Pre-separation.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I
what-
said that to you. It's like
It was more Diana.
it's more Diana.
that people like.
I think they even bring it up in the episode.
That is because of the Princess of Wales. Yeah.
But like, and the second scene that John Major is in, which is like the Balmoral scene, where it basically just ends with, they're all fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I agree.
He goes to Russia at some point and kind of does nothing but pass on a message from Yeltsin that he'd like to meet the Queen. He's then with the Queen in Russia, and he's there, but I don't think he says anything.
Oh, love it.
Perfect, accurate representation of John Major.
Yeah.
He's very much the in-between prime minister from Thatcher and Blair.
Oh, and he's also there when Boris Yeltsin is at Buckingham Palace having a dinner, and again, he doesn't say anything.
He just stares.
He's
into the
just
soul.
like right next to the Queen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Good on you, sick boy.
The amount of like relationship drama within this.
Oh, there's so much. Because you have Anne getting divorced. Obviously, Charles and Diana.
Margaret-ish.
This is an interesting one because Margaret's not been in this season a lot, but she's also very close to being on her way out because she died in the late 90s.
Yeah,
She died just before the Queen Mother, I think.
Yeah, because I know the Queen Mother was like
2001,
2002.
2002. She was 103 or something like that when she
Yeah,
passed.
yeah.
She was old.
Good on
was old.
her.
Because it's weird, because I wasn't expecting Margaret to be in this season that much, because at this point, I'm pretty sure she was mostly bedridden.
I mean, she had the whole relationship thing with Peter.
That, I
Johnson.
like that episode.
That was good.
Princess
Where Piers Brosnan shows up as...
I haven't seen him show up.
It's not Piers Brosnan, Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton, yeah. Princess Margaret died in February 2002.
Oh, wow.
I think the Queen Mother was like a month later,
Damn!
Wow.
if I'm right.
But I think at this point, she was having trouble
Yeah.
with arthritis and a couple other things.
Yeah, the Queen Mother died 30th of March 2002.
Damn.
Whereas
Wow.
Princess Margaret was the 9th of February.
Fucking hell. Just a month apart.
Yeah.
it's so weird to be getting to the point in The Crown. I think this is the reason I kind of wanted to talk about it. It feels like there's so many events that happen in the world at the time that this season of The Crown is taking place that it shaped the world that we grew up in.
Oh,
Yeah.
And yet we're seeing none of it.
Because you can't really, go every single direction.
No,
But
but then like
they're
every other
missing a lot.
season has sort of been focused on the events
Mm-hmm.
where you had like was it season 2 where they had the in Wales the mines collapsed.
No, that would have been
Oh.
season 3.
Season 3.
Because Olivia Colman was the queen at that
That's
point.
right.
And the actors change every 2 seasons.
Yeah. So it's in season 3 you have the thing that happened in Wales. There's stuff that happens with Thatcher. There's loads of different things that like the show's done, and it's like
It represents its eras very
Uh-huh.
well, but like
this season has been very removed.
It's very family focused.
Very family focused, which I guess makes sense because there was just so fucking much happening at this
Oh, yeah.
point.
yeah.
It's just weird seeing it, and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of relationship stuff. I kind of want to see the changes happening in the world at this point in time.
Yeah, because the 90s, especially in the UK,
Yeah.
sort of, like you said, defined the world that we sort of grew up in.
Exactly.
Like the early 2000s were basically the 90s I think you said it at one point through going through withdrawal.
Yeah, pretty much. It's because you can definably call anyone born before like 2003 a 90s kid.
Yeah,
even though
I feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I see the sort of 90s aesthetic, and I'm like, oh, I get this.
Exactly.
I jive with it.
like I was born in 97. I have no recollection of the 90s, but I feel like a 90s kid because so many things define the era
Yeah.
we grew up in. It'll be interesting because this season only goes up to 97 when Diana, it'll be interesting if the final season, because I think season 6 is the last, covers the big event in 2001.
I've been curious about that.
That's what I'm curious about. Come on.
Yeah,
Melina.
okay, the world one. Yeah,
Yes.
not the,
Yeah.
I was like, what happened in the royal family? I was like, oh no, wait. The world.
Come on.
I think they'll do something about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be surprised if they didn't, because going from that, like, if I remember correctly, a fact is that like the Queen ordered her like the band in Buckingham Palace to play the U.S. national
Oh,
anthem,
wow.
and that's the first time any other country's national anthem ever played
Wow.
at Buckingham
I
Palace. So
think 'cause,
that sounds like an episode right there.
it's one of those moments that like our generation and
Yeah.
the one before us, we can all pinpoint like where we were if we were
I fucking
sentient
can.
at that time.
I
don't-
was
I don't think
four.
we
You
can.
talk to your parents and older people, and they tell you.
Yeah.
I remember the second I remember exactly
My
where
mum
I was,
was
what
like,
was happening.
I was just doing the iron, and I'm like, thanks, mum.
My mum was the same, but because I was like 6 months at the time, my mum was just like, I don't really remember. I was more focused just on you at that point.
Yeah.
My mom was at work.
I was 4.
We're not going in the implications of that.
Yeah. I was 4, and I don't know if I was at nursery the day it happened or not. I can't remember.
I think my mum did tell me she remembers seeing it on the news.
My mum
Yeah.
told me she's seen it on the
Yeah.
news.
It's one of those moments that truly kind of stops people in their tracks.
Yeah.
Like what do I continue work? Do we close?
Yeah,
What do
like,
we
It's
do?
This
the only other event comparably and not at the same time, because I don't want people thinking I'm lumping these two events into the same,
yeah.
the only other definably big moment in history that we've had in our lifetime has been the passing of the Queen.
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
people
yeah.
will ask you, where were you?
I
Because
was almost going to say
Exactly.
Grenfell for a second.
Grenfell is another one, but I also
It's
feel
not
like
as
because
big.
we are so fucking British about the way we handled it, no one talks about it anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because,
I would compare maybe COVID, yes, no, because it's such a gradual thing.
yeah, we're...
It was less one singular event, COVID.
Yeah, COVID will be more like, well, you lived through it. It's almost, again, I don't want people thinking I'm putting these things in the
Yeah,
same...
but it's all culture
war-
significant moments.
None of these are all on the same
Yeah,
levels
like
of
when
each
people
other.
talk about the war, World War II, that's almost, it's the same sort of mentality of like how we would speak about COVID in the future.
Yeah,
Because it's how did you live through it?
Exactly.
What precautions have you
like?
taken?
Yeah.
I don't want to say we were more at risk or less at risk, because
Yeah.
it depended on where you were, what
Yeah,
the situation
yeah,
was at the
'Cause
time and everything.
I
But
think I remember when we were sort of in our first lockdown during April, May-ish. I remember saying to someone at work, like, you know, when we were in school, we'd have to go and ask our grandparents, you know, what are your memories of the war
yeah.
or the aftermath? Our grandkids are going to have to come and ask us, what was it like living through COVID? And I'm like, I hate that thought so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it's
I'm gonna give a really boring answer.
Yeah, I think most of us will give a boring answer.
Yeah.
I don't want to
this-
disappoint them.
exactly. It's like, well, you know, I had to stay home.
Yeah,
It's like, what did
I-
you do with your time? It's like
I chilled.
I watched stuff and looked.
I worked, I played video games, and I spent a fucking lot of money.
What's a
Yeah.
video game? Oh,
Oh no.
child.
You mean you were playing in the VR game? No.
No.
You mean you had to use your hands?
You
That's
had
like a
to look
baby's
at the
toy.
screen with your eye. Yeah.
You see, I was on this thing called an iPad.
Which iPads? Oh, we're at it's 59.
Oh, Apple? That was a company?
Let's talk about something
they
else.
just did phones and like computers. Like, huh? Yeah.
There were other phones except the iPhone?
Boy, if you don't shut up.
We're just gonna be the traumatized generation. We're like, I don't want to talk about it. What was it like before? I don't.
I don't want to talk
Yeah.
Mhm.
the scarred generation.
I'm just watching so much shit go down that I stopped caring about so much. Of it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Twitter, the downfall of Twitter. I'm like, the news, I couldn't care.
We have seen so many social medias like come and go, but Twitter has been around so long and so institutionalized that like watching it fall to pieces is like, oh my god, this is actually like something we should have been worried about
Yeah.
for a long time.
I think Vine went heroically. They were like, here we are, we're leaving.
Vine was such a like condensed period of time.
Because they,
Yeah, but it's the only social media that went out in battle.
Yeah.
yeah, they were like, we're just gonna shut it down. I was like, okay, what?
There are so many amazing Vines lost to time.
Oh yeah, because even TikTok, every few months they're gonna shut down TikTok. They're gonna ban it in our country. They're never gonna fucking do it. As
too
much
much
as
money.
you know, it has its issues with you know data breaches and
Yeah.
privacy and everything.
Chinese government.
countries- Yeah, exactly. No one's ever gonna shut it down.
Nah.
Yeah.
And Vine, maybe that was where they were going. We're like, let's shut it down before it happens. I could, you know, commendable if that's the
They
case.
died a
but
hero instead of living long enough to see
Exactly.
itself become,
Become
the
the
villain.
villain.
I can respect that.
Yeah, I
But
respect it.
here's the thing that bugs me about TikTok right now, okay? They have no... So, I think Instagram has a similar issue with this. Twitter has sort of monetization, or there are ways to monetize your content on Twitter.
Yeah.
TikTok... Nah, it doesn't really. But now they've also extended it from what was the original 5-10 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, they've extended.
You
to-
can now do like 3 to 5 minutes, which
Yeah.
is just
That's
No.
too long.
just
for
make
it.
a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point made like a YouTube short even.
Yeah.
Or something.
It's not even
And
a
the-
YouTube short.
That's it. Now you no longer have.
It's a YouTube medium.
It's now no longer short form content. It's just vertical video.
Yeah.
Which
And
I hate.
I
We're going
hate it.
The worst kind of video.
Yeah. Fucking TikTok, man.
Thought we were
Yeah.
past this as a society.
I don't understand. I hate that I'm saying this because I sound like such a fucking boomer. I don't get TikTok. I don't.
I
I've
get
never
parts of
used it.
TikTok, but I'm not interested enough in it that I'll download it. I said everything
unfortunately
months
have
late.
it on my phone. I never go on it and I never scroll through it. It's not like Instagram where sometimes I find myself on the Reels section just scrolling.
Because that's the thing, I get stuck there, and I recognize that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, TikTok has, as is known, a way better algorithm,
Yeah.
and that will suck you fucking in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, if I just don't start, I won't get stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something that really bothers me about TikTok though is that like you see these edits, and I put massive air quotes around them, and all people have done is taken a clip from a show,
Put
put those
song-
obnoxious fucking subtitles that they have on it,
Yeah.
or they have that stupid fucking
Voice.
voice where it's like, this scene from Breaking Bad is the greatest of all time, and it's literally just the scene with subtitles right and directly in the fucking middle of the screen, so you can't actually see the scene, and it's cropped to vertical video.
So you're missing half.
So you're missing half.
More than half. You're missing 2/3.
Yeah.
You're missing 2/3 of the
80%.
cinematography. I don't get it. I don't
No, I don't.
get it.
I've never like once gone on TikTok.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah. I send the real versions
Same.
of like TikToks, and my sister's like, I saw this 2 months ago. I don't care. I just want to show you.
I know that something's come from TikTok if it has that stupid fucking voice, and I'll instantly scroll past it.
Oh yeah.
Because that voice bugs the shit out of
That
me.
robot voice.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me yet. I think I'll get there though.
It is so close to being the Watch Mojo voice. I hate it.
Welcome to
Watch Mojo. Top 10 anime betrayals.
I mean, that was a great meme.
Man, you know, good on Watch Mojo for being like one of the worst YouTube channels.
They got-
yet somehow persisting consistently on the same content.
Because it's weird. Like, I put it, Watch Mojo, as like surface level YouTube
Oh,
stuff.
100%.
Like, before your algorithm has developed itself, it's like, Watch Mojo?
Yeah, it's like we don't know
Watch Mojo.
what the fuck to give you, so
Maybe-
watch
like-
Mojo.
In, I think, everyone's beginning creation of their algorithm and recommend it, we will all watch some Watch Mojo.
Yeah.
Baby's
Like,
first ranking channel.
Yes.
Exactly. Like, everyone has watched Watch Mojo, and it's such an ingrained part of culture almost.
That's
that
how
it's
you
weird.
know someone is young, because they don't have the old top 10, 15 list person. Number 15.
Top fives.
Top fives.
No, that wasn't top fives. It was someone else. Top fives was the British guy.
Yeah, you had top fives, you had top tens, you had
I still go back to top
top
fives.
10 unknowns.
Yeah, there was
God.
all-time tens.
All-time tens.
Who shut down.
Yeah, I know.
And it makes sense why, but there was also all-time conspiracies.
Yeah.
But like,
course.
they never said they believed any of them.
No,
They just
that's
presented
it,
them, but
yeah.
they still got shut down, and I'm very sad.
Yeah.
Because there were some videos they made that were top tier.
Yeah.
It's just such an early YouTube content. I think we all have the memories of like, it's 2 a.m., you're laying in bed, you're like, top 10 creepiest sea monsters? Yeah, let's go.
Like, I remember watching that fucking Burger King foot lettuce video.
In the
and
wild.
Then a decade later, it's a meme now, and it's like, it fucking throws me back.
oh yeah. It's
Number 15.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce, the last thing you want in your Burger King burger.
I don't want to judge the guy, but why does he speak?
I
like
don't know. I think it's that
It's-
thing of like no one knew at the time because it was so early YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, and they were just trying to give like an interesting
that? Voice.
voice to
because you
it.
can't go there as like, number 10, Burger King foot lettuce. Why would you want to
Yeah.
eat? It's like, no, it doesn't work. You
And
have
the
to
thing is, I
throw some
prefer
pizzazz.
that voice to the fucking Watch Mojo voice,
I
which is
love-
too upbeat.
It's too
I like
fake.
the female Watch Mojo because it's so fake. It's just,
Have you seen the clip
"Welcome
of
to
Tom
Watch-"
Holland
Yes.
and
It's disturbing. Jacob. Oh, what's his last name?
I can't remember the guy that
Spider-Man.
plays Ned.
I know, CEO of Sex.
What?
That was a meme. Like back when No Way Home came out.
What?
What?
What do you mean you guys haven't? Okay, I'm showing you this now.
Oh God.
But I
yeah.
can't escape that reel
No.
of like
it's
Tom Holland
everywhere.
and him meeting.
They're like,
the
oh,
girl.
we love Watch Mojo, and my first thought, of course, you
This was a
fucking do, you
fucking meme.
loser. Oh yeah.
Okay, you get it. I'm not
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
insane.
I'd never seen that one.
It just
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
great CEO of Sex.
He's gonna
Great.
release Sex too.
I can't wait for the Jesus Christ.
You can't see this on the podcast, but it's like
can't-
the
I
wolf of.
But to me,
I
it
can't wait
says-
for the new sex update, the new season pass.
That
when they
was-
drop the patch notes.
You're joking, but that was the meme.
I know.
it says something about so if one of their favorite channels is Watch Mojo, I fucking judge you.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
I'm judging you hard.
100%.
If your favorite channel is Watch Mojo, you haven't been on YouTube for very long.
Yeah,
Wow.
they were both so ecstatic to see her, and they're like, "Can you do the voice?" She's like, "Hello and welcome to Watch Mojo," and they lose it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ!
What have we become?
I'm looking at Tom Holland like, you are like 2 years younger than me, dude. Dude.
I mean, he's been a busy boy for years, so I'm assuming he doesn't spend most of his time on the internet.
I have like a higher bar for him.
I do, same. I mean, if I met the Watch Mojo lady, I'd ask her to do the thing.
Oh, same. Same.
absolutely.
But I would not be their level.
I'd
Of
be,
like,
oh my
they
God, this is
fucking
fucking
lose it.
weird.
Yeah.
I would kind of lose it a little, I'll be real.
I mean, yeah, a little
I
bit.
can't-
We'd lose it.
Yeah. I can't escape that reel though. It keeps
No,
coming up.
I know. It's one of those.
And every time I see it, it's progressively more cropped. Because in it,
Eventually it'll just be 1 pixel.
yeah, is it Jake Batalan?
oh, I don't remember his name.
Is that his last name? Batalan.
Who are we talking about?
the
Ned.
CEO of sex?
The CEO of sex, okay.
Because you looked up the CEO of Sex, but you didn't look up his name.
I was too enamored by sex too.
Is it it's Jake? Josh?
I just saw it
I
somewhere.
think his last name's Batalan.
Battle on.
Batalon. What's his first name?
Jacob.
Okay,
Jacob.
We got
No,
that.
it's
Jacob.
Jacob, right?
Jacob Batalon. Like the last one I seen, it's like Tom Holland and Jacob Batalon meet the Watch Mojo lady, but he's like cropped out, and you can only see Tom Holland.
Oh,
Fuck
that did him
guy.
dirty.
Yeah.
And one of them was like Zendaya just looking at them, and you can't see
can-
Zendaya.
Zendaya didn't give a shit.
No.
Because again, she was probably too busy to care about
Oh, yeah.
YouTube and shit.
The way you describe it, it's like she's in a box, and it's like live Zendaya.
There's
reaction.
like a big white. There is so much of the screen not used because it's like this big white box around like Tom Holland, and you can't see Jacob Batalon or Zendaya, but like all the captions are
Yeah.
like Jacob and Tom,
I don't
or
understand.
Zendaya as like so doesn't care, and it's like, but you can't see them.
I don't understand why people are not okay. Put some black bars above and below. I don't give
Yeah.
a shit. I'd rather enjoy my content smaller than zoomed in
Yeah.
to the point where I can't see 2/3.
That's it.
Don't cut out content.
Exactly.
Don't.
Or put in that little bit of effort where you just have like someone is talking, so you have them take up the screen, then you cut to the other person talking. That's getting into the whole fucking pan and scan from the VHS era.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. That is a
and I hate that that's almost making us go backwards now.
yeah, like I love VHS. It's a purely nostalgia thing, and like for the vibes, but like pan and scan is something that should have died in the 90s.
I don't get how they didn't just think, let's put the widescreen version on. Like, no one's going to care if we're watching it with black bars on the top and bottom.
It was legitimate debate back then.
I know.
I don't get it.
I still remember getting DVDs that were like full screen or widescreen.
No, you get tricked into buying the full screen version,
Yeah.
and like no one wants the full screen version.
I had more than a couple that were like 2-disc edition, and you'd open it up and it's like full screen and widescreen, and I'm like, one of these discs is fucking useless.
Yeah.
I've been watching Malcolm in the Middle recently for like the past few months. It's like, oh, I have 30 minutes, I'll just put on an episode.
Is that on Disney Plus?
Yes,
I've
it
been
is.
I
Is it
keep meaning to.
4:3 or is it 16:9?
I think it's 16:9.
Does it take up your full?
I mean, it was like early
Was it?
2000s.
'Cause
That's
so-
the
It's-
thing. Some
it's-
early 2000s
like-
stuff was 4:3.
yeah.
The thing is, it was like shot 16:9, I think, but
Cropped
televised
as 4:3.
4:3.
So that's the
there's
same
a
as
mi-
Friends.
yeah, I was gonna say
like-
Friends is the exact
but
same.
that
People
Friends
have noticed some inconsistencies where it's like,
Ah.
that is not the actor.
Yeah.
Or that child is a doll, but because it was cropped, they
it
didn't
wasn't.
give a shit.
Yeah, it wasn't shot to protect. Essentially.
No, and
Like-
it happens very rarely, but when you see it, you're like, ah, beautiful.
But see, Friends had the advantage of it was shot on film,
Film.
so they had to frame it for 16:9
Yeah.
with 4:3 in mind.
I mean, you say that, but like even on like Netflix, you can spot some inconsistencies
Oh,
that
yeah.
are mainly
Yeah.
meant to not be seen because it was going to be 4:3 anyway. Because like my mum pointed out one time when she was watching, like, hey, Rachel's hairstyle completely changes.
Oh yeah,
At one point, and like I'm pretty sure. In one scene, I can't remember if it's Joey or like Ross, he's just standing there clearly waiting for his line.
He's just
like,
standing out of frame, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll walk in frame when my
just
turn.
like that. Like I love pointing it out every time because it's like he's just standing there waiting.
there is always that
my
weird thing
favourite
of
type
watching
of acting.
Friends and it like being full screen. Because I'm like, I feel this should be 4:3.
It
Yeah.
feels wrong, yeah.
It's also, I think there was another point where like both someone said a joke in like an episode and like clearly the two characters on screen are laughing, but like Joey or Chandler is just off screen is clearly not.
Wow.
And that was funny because it's like Chandler is just like that wasn't funny at all.
Yeah, my laugh, you'll hear it, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I think it's always an interesting thing when like you get a re-release for a show from that sort of certain era, because it's either going to be really well done or it's going to be horrifically fucked up. Like when they put The Simpsons on a Disney Plus and had it in 16:9 and cut off like half of the visual gags.
Oh.
I
I feel like Disney would know better, but
No,
no.
Disney fucking don't know better is the problem.
Disney, get your shit together. Stop firing and hiring your CEO again.
They didn't expect anyone to care.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that
people
could-
did. But now, rather than just re-upload it all in 4:3, you have a toggle option in the extras menu.
I will say.
So they are giving you the option of watching an inferior product.
I
There
will.
will always be those people who say, I don't like seeing the black wars. I don't give a shit.
Suffer.
Yeah. I treat them with the same like people who say, "Oh, I can't stand black and white movies." Like, just deal with
Yeah,
it.
go half your
Yeah.
fucking copium.
I will say for like the Disney, this is going into a Simpsons thing just because I can't help myself. For like the Disney like sort of remaster sort of thing with 16:9, Disney didn't create that originally. It was for like ABC or something, or PBS
I
or
can
something.
get that, yeah.
Like in 2009 though, because they were doing like a marathon for like the show's 20th anniversary.
I kind of get it if it's like something that was done for TV, because there are stages of like broadcasting stuff again that we didn't really know better.
Yeah.
And like, because we were in that transition from SD to HD where we also changed aspect ratios, it meant there were some issues of, you know, how do we broadcast this? Do
Yeah.
we broadcast it in its original ratio? And then we've got other concerns to worry about, because TVs would often have some weird detection element where if there was dead screen, it would fill it out and blow it up. Which, thank fuck, you can turn that off on TVs
Oh, yeah.
now.
My not the TV I have now, but the TV I had before that, which was a smart TV, used to do that by
Yeah.
default, and I was like, oh no.
No.
Yeah. I always just have like in my TV settings it's set to like original, I think is usually what it's called, although sometimes you'll have to set it to like fit or fill or something for it to like properly display. Because I had a weird thing. I was watching a movie. What was it? Oh, the Child's Play remake. I had it set to original, but it like blew it up and made it full screen, even though it was the first one that was shot in cinematic aspect ratio. So I'm watching it and I'm like, everyone looks really long.
Very
He
stretched.
got tall.
No, it's not at all. It's like everyone's face was
Oh, the
like,
faces.
like
yeah.
thin.
and it like wasn't enough to make me go, I'm watching this in the wrong aspect ratio. It just took me a while to realize. So eventually I just went into the settings and like changed it, and it was, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Very nice.
A weird thing though was like upscales. They're either
Upscales.
really good, which is the BBC. I hate giving the BBC a compliment, but I gotta give it to them. They got great upscaling technology.
This is your local Doctor Who fan saying get the fucking early season Blu-rays because they're still they're the best those seasons
Yeah.
have ever looked.
Get
which is
rid.
impressive for like masters from what 5, 7, 6. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like PAL in
the early like digital cameras that were SD interlaced and in fucking British standard fucking goddamn broadcasting, and I'm not getting into the 20. I'm not getting into
It's
PAL.
okay. It's fine.
It's okay,
You're
calm
fine.
down.
I'm not gonna get into PAL because it stresses me the fuck out.
Ironically, it is not a very friendly format.
No,
PAL.
the fact that like 90% of stuff we get to watch is sped up because of it.
That messes with me sometimes. Breathe.
Anyway,
But yeah, it's obviously not quite up to true HD, but
Oh, yeah.
it is damn good.
Yeah,
like, comparing to like my old DVDs, it is. Whoa.
yeah, my biggest recommendation for it is always Red Dwarf. If you watch that on Netflix or if you buy the Blu-ray, it's originally from tape because the BBC never shot much on film. It was always tape, and that looks great.
Oh.
Like surprisingly.
Yeah, that would be surprising because like you've got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is very much of its time.
Yes. And then you have stuff like Seinfeld on Netflix.
Which is in fucking Dolby Vision.
It's also upscaled to 4K for some reason.
Is Dolby
Oh.
Vision not 4K?
So you can have, this is a complicated thing. So
I was scared it would be. Don't.
HDR and by extension Dolby Vision, since they're technically the same format, can be independent of resolution,
Okay,
which
yeah,
is
that makes sense.
something I wish they would embrace for 4K releases. Like the Ultra HD format home video. You can regrade it color-wise, that's fine, because it gives a nice representation of colors. Not everything needs to be in 4K if you're upscaling it. Please, just put it on in 1080. You can do that, and it's fine, and it looks better than some of the shit fucking...
Yeah,
We're getting a little too heated.
if you're upscaling from like standard def, I'm not expecting a 4K
Yeah.
because like I'm expecting a HD.
Yeah, I think Seinfeld is upscaled from SD to 4K. So...
It's like it's too far.
It is too far.
Yeah.
Going from 480p to 2160, it's too much of a jump.
Too much.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I wasn't sure if just the Dolby Vision standard included it had to be in 4K as
No. Netflix are interesting in that you'll get Dolby Vision grades for stuff that was never in HD. Because never in 4K, sorry, because I think the new Ghost in the Shell series, that's only 1080, but it has a Dolby Vision grading.
That makes sense.
Which is, it's hit or miss.
Okay.
It's animated, so it's kind of...
Yeah.
And then it's the same with it's no longer on Netflix. It's a series called Knights of Sidonia. They went back and re-exported that with I think it was maybe just base HDR. So yeah, it's not all. It's something I wish more things would embrace.
Yeah.
Is you don't need it to be 4K for it to be in HDR.
Exactly.
But I think not many people know that. It's a little kind of...
Because of like the way they are, they're sort of linked together.
I prefer Disney's way of doing it and Amazon's, where you get little individual tiles for everything that it's available in. It's not Netflix lumps everything together.
Yeah.
If it's in surround sound, that's the only thing you're going to get shown. If it's in Atmos, it's the only thing you're going to get shown. If it's in Dolby Vision, it's the only thing you're going to get shown. If it's in HD, that's the only thing you're... if it's in HDR, it's the only thing you're going to get shown. You're not going to get shown that, it's Dolby Vision, but it's 1080p.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any distinction.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go on to, like, Disney, there's, like, so many different bits of information when you go on
So many different labels.
Yeah, it's almost a little too much.
But it's needed.
It's
I'd
needed,
say.
yeah. Like, knowing that something is in 4K, Dolby Vision, HDR, and IMAX is nice, because some of those are all different options that you can choose from. This has gotten a weird technical conversation.
We started this conversation talking about death and shit.
Yeah, and then we went to The Crown.
Yeah.
And then some other place.
I
Good
like
luck-
episodes.
good luck naming this
I know,
episode.
that's what I'm like. I have no fucking clue what I'm going to name this. I like
death.
episodes where we're not always on, like, one topic.
It's good.
I feel like
It's chaotic. I like it.
I feel like for episodes like this, you could just put like a subtitle, free form, and
Yeah.
then another title.
Are there any other topics we want to cover before we wrap up? I know we're...
Good on time.
Yeah, we're pretty good on time.
Anything?
I don't have
'Cause, well,
anything, I'm
I feel bad
sorry.
because the last conversation, Melina, hasn't really been something
Yeah,
you can chime
I
into.
noticed, and I wanted to say sorry.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I don't mind.
You are also
It's
a film
interesting.
student, but you just aren't technically...
I'm not into the most technical part. No.
Nah.
I'm more physical, I suppose.
Is that what you would call script writing?
Physical.
Physical. It's more production, pre-production, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
Less
I'll
technical.
That's good, because I
Production.
fucking hate all that stuff.
Same.
I'll write
A
the
lot of
story.
people do. It's an issue.
I'll write the story, but I ain't fucking writing a screenplay for it.
There's so many people in my course think like, I'm like, just get over it. Just write it.
I can do it. I just don't get joy out of
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
No,
It's
it
not
can be
fun.
very.
I find screenplay writing to dry.
I get it.
I say that because like I like creative writing. I like putting all the words together and seeing how they link up.
I think I'm just a bad creative writer. That's why I like
Maybe that's what it is.
It's simpler.
I used to think I was as well, and then like suddenly it kind of clicked, I guess. I don't have much time to do it at the moment, but I'm looking forward to when we're kind of done with college and I can again.
Yeah, you have the
Um,
free.
I have the free.
Freedom.
So I got a couple ideas I'm wanting to work on.
Nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to reading over them as a proofreader.
Yeah. And then going, hey, you fucking misspelled that. Oh, fuck.
Sweet revenge. I am the smart one.
But then I read your stuff and I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to get my marker out.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving me factual
Usually,
corrections
yeah.
as well. I don't need to do that with you. Anyway,
I think we've kind of
properly wrapped ourselves.
yeah. So yeah, thank you for listening to this absolute
train
wreck of an episode.
Happy January.
Happy
January.
I feel bad for anyone who's not technically minded because that last conversation was, if you don't know about it,
Yeah.
Skip it.
totally
Just-
meaningless.
Yeah, you could have ended this like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. But if you're listening to this part, watch Red Dwarf. Do it. It's good.
I haven't seen it, so
You should watch it.
I
It's
should
very-
watch it.
Yeah. You should also watch
I
it,
know.
Melina.
But you've got a backlog.
I am
Watch-
so.
Watch
Like-
Gravity Falls for fuck's sake. You started and then stopped. Same with you for Korra.
Shut the fuck up. Cora. Shut the fuck up.
Never. You got to season 2 for
I know,
fuck's
but the
sake.
more you ask me about it, the less I'm gonna watch it.
All you're doing is punishing yourself, my man.
No, I'm punishing you.
How are you punishing me?
Because
I've
if
seen
people,
the show.
it's like when people keep recommending stuff like The Wire or like big famous movies. Like
Are
the
we about
more,
to go into a big conversation here?
I'll just make this quick. The more people like recommend something and say it's like the best shit going, which I know you don't say Korra is,
No.
but the more people recommend it, the more I'm like, well, I don't want to watch it.
No, I'm not gonna.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't get what it is.
The thing is, you started watching
I
it is what annoys
know.
me at this point.
I know. And I don't care if you're annoyed, but you asking me is annoying me.
This is me with Doctor Who. The more people
You
tell
haven't
me to
started
watch
it.
it,
Yeah.
the more I'm like, well, now it's impressive that I haven't seen it yet.
Other
I'd like to
people
keep
have
that.
told you to.
So many.
Oh, I didn't realize I was a voice in a chorus.
Because I
You were the
have
first
this,
one to
Oh,
tell me.
cool.
I have this with The Wire. Like everyone says,
Yeah.
like Wire is one of the best shows ever on TV. I'm not gonna watch it because people keep fucking talking about it.
It's almost like me with Breaking Bad now.
You need to watch Breaking Bad.
Look, at least I'm in the process of watching that.
Oh, you're watching Breaking Bad?
Yes, very slowly.
Yeah,
Fuck,
this
we
is
could have
part
talked
of your,
about that.
This is your backlog.
I'm just watching. Like every evening I'm like, well, am I in the mood for Malcolm in the Middle or Breaking Bad?
You're in the same universe at least.
Because they both have Bryan
Bryan
Cranston.
Cranston.
I
Yeah.
recommend doing it simultaneously.
There are so
really
many
not.
fan theories that
I-
like Breaking Bad takes place after Malcolm in the Middle.
I have
Makes sense.
very much been debating with myself, but it's taken me so long to watch Breaking Bad. I kind of want to watch Malcolm in the Middle first and pretend it's like a series
You
It
should.
works. It works.
You should.
because I've seen clips of Malcolm in the Middle to know I'd like it,
Oh, you
and I've seen the dad character to know like he's probably my favorite character.
Yeah.
So the switch would be amazing. Anyway,
Anyway,
we've
that's us.
Yeah.
talked more than we expected at the end there.
God.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Come back next time. Again, I never
We'll
know
see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Fuck about and
Find out.
Find out, yeah.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Farewell.